Our last speaker is the Reverend Canon Gideon. I'm sure he's probably known to many of you. He's well known in the field of HIV prevention and is a leader in the religious response to HIV. The title of his speech is Faith, Family Planning, and HIV. Reverend Canon Gideon is a scholar in residence at St. Paul's University in Kenya and has a Doctor of Divinity. He's co-founder of the African Network of Religious Leaders Living with or Affected by HIV and AIDS. Please welcome Canon Gideon.
Hi, you've heard my names. I'm Gideon. I'm from Uganda. I am talking about a topic that is very important to us in this movement to save lives and to make sure that people are safer, healthier, more peaceful, more prosperous, and are living spiritually fulfilling lives. Whereas most of us have negative stories about the faith community regarding family planning and HIV prevention, my story is a bit different. My story is a story of hope. My story is a story of love from my faith community. When I tested positive in 1992, my faith community supported me to come to terms with my HIV infection. That personal accompaniment was demonstrated in various ways. One was to form a group of friends who were praying for me, supporting me, and to lead me to give me care when I needed it. When I nearly died in 1998, doctors said I was remaining with 6 months to live. My faith community helped me to access treatment of the very important antiretroviral treatment. It's a miracle that you are seeing me alive and healthy, thanks to my bishop and my fellow clergy who united to make sure that they do everything possible to keep me alive. When I lost my wife in 1991, they supported me to adopt a strategy that I had left 4 years ago. That is the abstinence strategy. But when the abstinence strategy began becoming weak, they helped me again to graduate to another form of support. And that is, they helped me to get someone who was HIV positive, who had lost a husband, like I had lost my wife, and we married. There was, of course, a challenge of how two positive people could get married, consummate their marriage without producing HIV positive children. So again, my faith community supported us to get all the information around family planning, around positive prevention. And we adopted correct and consistent condom use for 7 years until science became available that you can produce children without infecting them. And so we listened carefully and put the science into practice, and we now have 2 beautiful babies. One actually is 11 years old now, and the other one is 9 years, and they are all negative. So me and my wife, thank you. From that experience, me and my wife adopted a family planning and HIV prevention policy that if it is not on, it's not in. Thankfully, my faith community again has supported me to expand that movement and of positive prevention, of family planning, of ensuring that we reduce unwanted, unsafe, and unplanned pregnancies. And we have a movement of 10,000 members of the African Network of Religious Leaders Living with or Personally Affected by HIV. It has grown now into an international movement, and I think the director is here, Reverend Pumuzire Zondi. And we work to do 2 things that promote family health and HIV prevention. One, we reduce the stigma the shame, the denial, the discrimination, the inaction and misaction around HIV. We also increase the safe practices in all their entirety: abstinence, faithfulness, condom use, prevention of mother-to-child, safe circumcision for men, and safe vaccine research. All these things we know that work. We promote them. The A is access to treatment and nutrition. The V is the voluntary, routine, and stigma-sensitive counseling and testing. And the E is the empowerment of children, empowerment of young people, empowerment of men and women, giving them information, giving them skills, changing their attitudes, and making them more able to negotiate safe sex, to negotiate abstinence, to negotiate those things that make us safer, healthier, and more peaceful. So what we are seeking from you is two things. One, we need your support more than your criminalization. There are many governments who are being tempted to adopt criminalization laws of deliberate transmission, of criminalizing other sexualities and so forth. I think when my experience shows that when people who are positive are loved, cared for, and supported, they become important partners in both family planning and in HIV prevention. So they need more of everyone's support, everyone's accompaniment. Number two, we need to grow this movement of religious leaders who are more open, who are siding with you to promote life. We should have a bigger stories. We should have more stories of those who are supporting the movement for reproductive health, rather than hearing all the negative stories. But there are very important partners down there who are doing a lot of work. My faith community, the Anglican Church and the Anglican Communion, and now the interfaith movement where I belong, people need to hear that story going on. I have saturated for you a booklet, which I think everyone now has, with that story. You can read in detail to find out how you can promote and support the global working group on faith, SIDM, and HIV. We intend to mobilize 150,000 religious leaders to be engaged in family planning and HIV prevention. Out of those 150,000 religious leaders, we intend to get 70,000 congregations that are active in these issues. And in each congregation, we want to train at least 60 people. 60 people who are offering information, changing people's attitudes, building people's skills, providing services, and offering referrals where they cannot, and connecting people to the health care. That means you have an opportunity of having 4.2 million people every week engaged in family planning and HIV prevention, education, and empowerment. That is a very big movement that if me and you, we work together, we can deliver. Thank you very much.